Hey there guys, Outlaw Dolphin here, and I'm bringing you a Plague Tale Innocence playthrough. I downloaded this literally yesterday just to give it a go. I saw the launch trailer and it looked very interesting. It looked very Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, that kind of mentally challenging, mentally exposing kind of game. I've already played a few chapters, but I thought it's worth replaying again because there were a few collectibles that I missed. There are collectibles in each chapter. It seems to follow the story of a royal family, particularly the daughter and the son, who are Amicia and Hugo de Rune, on the run from the Inquisition in a time where France is exposed internally due to English troops coming from abroad, and the plague itself, and in general an Inquisition that's trying to savagely root out the evil that seems to persist during the time. And I felt it was worth replaying. Missed a few things, and I felt it would be worth giving it a go in terms of a playthrough, just because it's not the type of game I've played on the channel before. I've not played many games like this in general, but it's definitely very interesting. I turn the settings up, the music down. I'm going to turn that back up. And we're going to jump straight in.
You are dawdling, Amicia. How will you be able to follow the lords at hunt?
Is that your only ambition for me? To follow? I will beat them, and I will watch them eat my dust as I forge ahead. But for that, I shall need a good horse.
You've been going on about this walk for ages. Why here?
The tree.
Which tree?
The apple tree, father. I want to take the knight's challenge once more.
The knight's challenge? But you're not 10 years old anymore, you know.
Oh, please, father. I've trained hard for this.
All right, let's go.
Okay, here we go. So, this is Amicia de Rune. This is the hero of the game. If you want to call her a hero, the game is very morally challenging. And there's definitely it's quite across the spectrum. There is a lot of black pretty much everywhere. In every decision that gets made, in every character that you come across, there's a lot of black in the decisions that they take and the things that happen.
Your mother's ribbon is...
There's also a lot of grey, and you do see bits of light as well.
Yes, father, I know.
It's definitely quite across the spectrum.
We all have obligations, Amicia. You know, in a family. Hey, I'm trying to tell her something.
Such authority, Knight de Rune.
What I'm going to do is see if I can switch on some subtitles. There we go, because every now and then I'm just going to talk, and that way you guys can still see what they're talking about.
As I was saying, we all have...
So it definitely follows that Amicia and her brother Hugo have not exactly been a brother and sister. And as Amicia is saying here, she barely sees her parents. her mother solely takes care of Hugo, as he has a particular illness
Hey, wait!
that has
I hope you have your...
something to do with what goes on, but it's not, you know, it's not talked about and it's not explained.
Do you dare to enter the Trials Gate?
Amicia de Rune fears nothing.
This apple tree was planted when you were born. It will prove your worth.
Sir Knight, what are the terms of the test?
The sacred apples of the sacred apple tree have been corrupted by a great evil. If you destroy 6 of these rotten apples by the time I count to 10, I will make you a knight.
I accept your challenge.
The first time I did this, it was cutting it pretty close.
Go and get them and tell me when you're ready.
Amicia gets around by using her sling, and it's pretty much the only weapon
Ready?
that you get given.
I'll show you I'm not a child anymore.
All right, come back.
It was an option to switch off pretty much all the HUD indicators, but you rely on this sling quite a bit. And I'm saying it was an easy decision for me not to switch it off.
So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, Amicia. 6, 7, 8.
And this is how Amicia becomes a true knight.
There we go.
Well, well. I must say I'm impressed.
That was a little bit quicker than I did last time. But you can kind of see there's
It was a present.
a diamond that squeezes on the target. The smaller that diamond gets, the better your accuracy will be.
Goodness, what's up with him?
He must have smelled the rabbit. Come on, quickly.
You go ahead. I'll catch up with you.
There is a lot of stealth integrated into the game. You will rely on it a lot. And it's kind of puzzle based, how you move around, distracting, which enemies you need to distract in order to move around more freely.
A hunting dog is not supposed to lose its hunter. Leon! Where did he go?
This dog is nothing but trouble.
Ah, there you are. What did you smell? Oh gosh, a wild boar. What a good dog.
Amicia, did he find something?
Shh. Come and see. A wild boar.
Some game. This will do nicely for a little feast.
I could use my sling.
That might work. But you'll need to get closer. This grass will keep you hidden if you stay low.
The grass will keep you hidden from almost everything so long as you stay in it.
Time to make my move.
But if you stand, as I will do now, you'll see how easy it is to be spotted.
It saw me.
Find a way to sneak up. You have to hit the head.
So pretty much standing in direct view of anything is liable to get you spotted. Now,
Careful.
I did this last time by approaching from the
My
left.
best. I want that feast.
I know.
Approaching from the right will probably get you closer,
There you are.
Use the high grass.
but
Stay low.
I think coming from the left was a little bit better.
Shot. Does hunger always make you this accurate? But the feast isn't on your plate quite yet.
No. Go, Leon. Don't lose the scent.
Now, the one thing I always thought was that I thought you had to hunt boar with a particularly huge spear,
I promise you, tonight we shall dine like kings.
and she's just throwing rocks at it.
I have no doubt we will.
Don't give up, Leon. I'm coming, Leon. Keep him there and you'll get a piece for yourself. Oh no, I'll sink in there.
You can kind of already see the forest has taken a pretty huge turn.
The boar. It's bleeding. He stopped barking. He must have found it. These bridges were almost new. Someone's not going to be happy.
Whoever has to clean them. Probably.
The trees. What did that? Leo, come here! It's the boar. But how? Leon couldn't have done that.
Whatever devoured it did it very quickly.
Leo!
Now, because I know pretty much most chapters 1 to 4, I don't want to really spoil anything from point to point. But this is particularly nasty.
My dog. Who did this?
What devilry is this? We must go. Immediately.
Now, I'm not too sure if towards an ending for this game, because to me, when I was playing the first few chapters, it felt like Dishonored, the first one,
Must speak with her.
in a way that death does seem to matter in this game, in terms of not your death per se, the player's death, but more
He wasn't.
what you kill. Amicia reacts to most deaths that she sees. Particularly the ones that she causes herself. It is possible to kill enemies, but I'm sort of wondering if there's something towards an ending. I'm not too sure. I've never been anywhere near the ending for this game. I'm just wondering if it affects how the ending goes, what her outcome of the story is, depending on how many people she's killed or seen killed.
During the night. Sounds like the English to me. Now, why would the English go and bite people? I don't know. To keep us off balance.
Now, if you're not too familiar with history, during the 14th century, this is the year 1348, there was a plague known as the Black Death or the bubonic plague,
Lady Amicia, did you have a good walk?
and that seems to be what affects most people later into the game.
Yes,
In this game, it's called The Bite. It's transferred much the same way as you'd expect from history how the first Black Plague was spread. But there's something a bit more
Keep us from evil.
darker and a bit more evil to this.
From our door.
Okay, so we need to go find Amicia's mother,
I hope
because
it was not-
whatever happened in that forest,
Sunshine.
she is probably the only person who's going to know anything about it, as she's only an alchemist.
Ah, Gabrielle.
Lucky to be in
Is
this
mother
house.
upstairs?
Mark my
Yes,
words.
she spent the night there. The little
Right
one had
about
another
that.
one of his attacks.
She won't be in a good mood.
Now, I remember when I was in secondary school and we were learning about the Black Death, we were watching a dramatized documentary about people who, lived and died under these circumstances. And I remember we learnt about this in year 7, what is probably, the first, if you're watching this across many different countries, it's sort of like the 7th year of education in the UK is sort of what you'd expect for the first year of high school, something like this. It depends. I'm not too familiar because we were sort of like 11 and 12 when we learnt about
I
this.
have to finish your room.
And the videos that we watched, it definitely brought some students to tears watching that. Just watching how something can be so discriminatory in what it attacks. But there are many sicknesses like this in even our time.
It's the placemat that Mother made for me when I was a little girl. I've been looking for it everywhere. Thank you, Louise.
You're welcome, sweetness. Look after it now.
Okay, so most curiosities. There are curiosities, there are flowers, and a few other gifts that are in each chapter. We found this one. A tablecloth. Hand-woven doilies are of 10 decorated with lace and are used primarily to protect tables from hot dishes. This doily is adorned with the family coat of arms, a traditional pattern for young, well-bred girls when they learn to crochet. This one was made for Amicia specifically. It looks like the coat of arms for Daerun is a forest with a sun and a moon.
Oh, Leon. What am I going to do here without you?
You can see Amicia mourns her dog, Leon. Leon was her dog. You can see the bed is in her room. So this wasn't the family hound. This was her hound. Just taking a look here. This is probably the mother and father's room. Not much to get here. So we'll head straight to Beatrice. That's her mother. That should just be on the door on the left.
Mother?
You know you're not supposed to be here.
I know, but something attacked Leon in the forest.
My dear, I really wish I had the time to listen to your adventures, but
You can kind of tell she's a very strict mother.
But it's true. Leon was lying there on the ground, and then he was...
shh! You are to stay here with your brother.
What? Why? What's
Close
happening?
the door behind me and do not open the shutters, whatever happens.
But Hugo...
He is not contagious. I realize you hardly know him, but he will be all right. Trust me, Amicia.
Yes, Mother.
Okay, time to find the baby brother. If there's anything to be found,
All these potions. Mother,
I'll try and look for it.
I'll be able to cure him.
Pretty much most collectibles tend to glow.
How long has he been here? 4 years? 5?
So you can see that even Amicia doesn't precisely know how old Hugo is.
Where is he?
She's only guessing at 4 or 5 years. Don't think there's anything else in here. But we'll find the little lad behind the drape. This is probably the first time they've seen each other in a long time.
Sister? Amicia?
Hello.
We haven't seen each other much. Mummy will be back soon.
Move! Come on!
Did he talk?
No, Lord Nicholas. He killed 2 of our men.
Where is he? I won't ask again. Where is your son?
In good hands.
Search the house.
Everything's going to go south real quick.
Is that Mummy?
Hugo, come here.
What's happening?
I know you're here, kid. I don't have time to play games.
Okay, We're going to slink off this way.
Stay down.
Hugo, it's me, Gabrielle. Come here quickly.
Hey, you! What the hell are you doing?
We're going to wait for that one to go into the room first.
Shut your mouth.
We're going to go where he came. Now, the one thing that I thought when first playing this game is that I thought, wow, they really can't see me when I'm standing right there. But a lot of these knights are wearing closed helms.
That'll teach you.
So it would be entirely possible for them to not see us in some situations.
Not here!
And you,
Come on.
make this very clear. Tell me, where is Hugo?
Okay, down the stairs we go. You do move very slowly when you're crouched together with Hugo.
Monsieur.
There's not much you can do about it, but that is the puzzle of the game. I can leave him in some situations to move on ahead, but right now it's best to keep him with you.
Oh my god. Louise.
Think it's funny making me run like that?
I miss. Please.
A lot of this is opportunistic.
We need to move.
You have to keep an eye on a lot.
We have to keep going.
Okay, both of them have our backs to us, so we're going to move across and aim for that hallway over there.
Do the laundry. This is your last chance.
The game is fairly linear in most levels, but the puzzles, you know, puzzles are puzzles. Just need to figure it out as you go along. Okay, so we're in the kitchen area now.
Well, well, well. Where do you think you're going?
My children.
You have to understand as you go through this game, I mean, some aspects of how these children behave can be a bit
What's happening?
brattish and a bit questionable. But when you see Hugo and the way he behaves, he knows nothing but his mother and, you know, other doctors. He's been sick his whole life. He doesn't know anything. He barely knows Amicia. And Amicia barely knows him.
I'll go first, and you just have to follow me, all right? We have to cross the gardens. Amicia, hold your brother's hand and follow me in silence, all right?
Yes.
Yes,
Guards, watch the exits. No one.
they are everywhere.
Trust me. Through the grass, they won't be able to see us.
Wait.
Mommy.
Shh.
Yeah, the mother pretty much takes off. You can see here, we're right in front of his eyesight and he can't see us. That's how protective the grass can be.
Says he watched the kids grow up.
Yes, the little one loves flowers. I used to take him some.
Flowers! You can do better than that. Take him. Make sure he tells you everything he knows.
Please, don't.
It's not been too obvious at this point, but this is the Inquisition. These are French soldiers who are trying to root out evil. But the thing is with Inquisitions is that they tend to do this very extremely.
Have a little think, and I'll come back later. And you! Don't die without talking to me first.
Bastards.
It's very unclear why they'll be looking for a 4 or 5-year-old boy.
Help him.
You know,
I'll carry you.
your master
All
has
right.
given us his
Be
son.
careful getting down.
Yes.
But Robert the Rune doesn't like the Inquisition.
Just a boy and a
even
bunch
though
of
we got
peasants.
a noble
How long
crown.
can it take?
Look out.
They'll see us.
You have to get further away. If I can hit the helmets in the grate over there,
Your sling will give us away.
I can throw it instead.
What was that noise?
There you go. So if you throw stones at anything metallic, it's going to distract the troops. That's going to be the puzzle of which troops do you distract. There will be several different ways to get through certain areas.
His illness has awoken. We need to go faster.
So, the boy? He's hiding.
Okay, so we have the laundry over there. Stand down. I keep pressing the wrong button.
Never had a better captain. Good.
If you stand up, almost everything will see you.
Come back alive. We need you here.
We can't go.
Mother,
Maybe by throwing one of these pots.
really?
The noise will attract him.
If you press R1, you can pick which ammo you want to throw.
Listen, I know what you poor people are like.
The yellow arrows on the point where the throw is indicating will indicate which enemies will be distracted by the distance thrown. If you throw it too far, they won't be distracted at all, or you might distract someone else inadvertently.
What was that noise?
Come on.
Oh, no.
Stay calm. Hold my hand tight.
Nothing to report.
It's locked from the other side.
Mother, the hole in the wall.
Yes, Hugo, I'm sorry. I know you're scared, but if you get through there, you can open the door for us. You're the only one who can do it.
What's behind there?
Just concentrate on the door. You're a brave boy. You prove it to me every day. Amicia is going to let go of your hand. Then you can quickly go through, all right?
Alright.
These are pretty much the hardest parts for Hugo.
Be strong.
The parts where, because you can send him to do something. Open a door, open a window.
Well done.
It's all part of the puzzle.
Hold my hand. Come on.
But it's the hardest part because Hugo tends to panic very easily.
Wait.
Screaming for mercy won't make you run faster, my lad.
Now for the period of talk this game is going for, I think some of the accents are a bit hit and miss, but overall the acting is very, very good. Everything is delivered well.
Follow me.
Okay, here right at this part right here is how you'll see how Amicia and Hugo can behave with one another.
Coming.
Amicia, you have to help him next time.
Sorry.
Ow. My head.
What is wrong with him?
An attack. Listen to my voice, Hugo. You know how this goes.
My eyes. My head.
Listen
This is the illness that Hugo suffers from.
to the cloud that you breathe in and blow out. In, out. Like that slowly.
Mother, we can't stay.
Give him a little time. You're right, Hugo.
I think so.
So, let's continue. Courage, my darling.
It's okay, Hugo.
Yes.
In the chapters that I have played, I've tended to never leave Hugo alone. Like it says he can panic. So I've tended not to run the risk, even though it means getting through levels a little bit slower. We go for the grass.
We can go now.
It's too risky with Hugo. He's slower than us.
There are pots over there. I could cross, make a diversion.
Alone.
Yes, you'd have more time. I can let you know when it's alright.
Be very careful.
Okay, so we're going to wait for this fellow to turn around. We're going to dart for those pots. I'm going to throw them off further so that he can, you know, not be doing what he's doing. Oh boy. Nearly took too long there. And then we already have the desired pot.
Aim well. Mother and Hugo need time to get through.
What I'm going to do is that when he turns his back to the arrow, there we go.
I need to call them now. Psst, come here.
Better go see what it was.
Come on, come quickly.
Well done. This way.
Nothing.
There we go. Didn't want to leave Hugo too far behind. Pick up some more stones.
The garden gate. We should be able to get out of here.
There's one guard left.
The scarecrow. I used to practice firing at it.
He will come this way?
Yes, but we could wait until he goes away again.
All right. Leave this to me.
Switch to the stones. This was the sort of more interesting part about the puzzle. Was that normally you don't want to attract things to you, but because they go back to where they were, they have their back to you for longer. Everything is timed just perfectly.
Go away. Get out of here.
Now.
You're alive. This way. This way. Follow me.
It's like one of the family retainers or gardeners has managed to stay alive.
My darling. Go and hide quickly now.
Madame, they are here.
You have to take your brother to Laurentius.
The doctor?
Yes. He helped me treat Hugo. He will look after you.
And what about you? You
do
have
not
to come.
need me, Amicia. You are.
But I do need you. I need you.
One of the more interesting parts, because she could have ran away.
Follow the river. It will lead you to Laurentius.
Mother, no! Hugo, follow me. Now.
Kill the sister! Soldiers, this way!
What's happening? Where's Mommy?
She will catch up with us. Run as fast as you can.
Be careful, goddammit!
The ground! It's shaking! Amicia, the ground is shaking!
Now, there are sequences to the game which are literally just purely run.
Straight on. Very straight on.
That way.
Where are we going? Mommy won't be able to find us!
Just keep running.
Amicia!
There's also something in the forest.
We can't. We can't let them catch us. Where should we go? I don't know.
There's something in the ground, Amicia!
We've got two just on our tail, and I dare not look around.
Are we going to die?
No, we have to lose them. Oh no, they're everywhere.
What do we do?
The river.